Welcome to the Housing Authority of Kansas City's Housing Choice Voucher Program Briefing. Congratulations on being selected as a voucher recipient. The Housing Authority of Kansas City is also known as HAKC and will be referred to as such for the remainder of the presentation. The Housing Choice Voucher Program is also referred to as Section 8 or HCV. The HCV program and its rules apply to vouchers issued under the HCV program as well as vouchers issued through the Emergency Housing Voucher Program or EHV, the Family Unification Program in partnership with DHS, also known as FUP, and the Veterans Affairs Supportive Housing Program or VASH. The purpose of the HCV program is to aid you with paying rent in the private rental market. This means that the HCV program will pay a portion of your rent when you rent a house, an apartment, or a mobile home. In addition to the information provided in your briefing packet and this presentation, we encourage you to review HAKC's website at www.hakc.org. On our site, you will find helpful information, frequently asked questions, and common forms. We also have special email addresses to ensure prompt attention to your needs. Please use the email address hakc@hakc.org to quickly reach the right assistance. If you are an EHV voucher holder, you can email hakc@hakc.org. Documents can be returned via email. Please note, if sending pictures of documents, make sure the whole document is legible and visible. Make sure the photos are clear, not too dark or blurry. This helps to avoid delays in processing. HAKC's office is located at 3822 Summit St. in Kansas City. When mailing in documents, please send them to the HCV department at 3822 Summit St. There is a mail slot located by the front doors of our office on the street side of the building where items can be dropped off as well. In most cases, you will be able to handle all your business with HAKC by email, fax, or telephone. Our normal office hours for in-person assistance are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Currently, our office is closed to the public, and we are only accepting documents via postal mail, email, or through our mail drop box. Our best phone number is our main office number, which is 816-968-4100. If you don't reach a live operator, please leave a voicemail, and we will return your call. HAKC also allows for some documents to be sent and or signed via our electronic document service, BA.ai. This allows you to sign documents electronically without the need to print them. HAKC staff are happy to provide you with instructions on how to open/access your document to sign. You are joining today's presentation because you are being issued a voucher to assist with your housing rent payment. There are a few things you need to do today to begin to use your voucher and search for a unit. 1. Watch and listen to this presentation. 2. Review your information guide briefing packet. Please have the information packet, Unit Search Guidance Letter S, and request for tenancy approval documents that we sent you available for review as you watch and or listen this presentation. These would be attached to your congratulations email or sent to you by postal mail. These documents are very important. Together with this presentation, they will help you understand how to use the voucher and what additional information you will need to provide. If you need a reasonable accommodation, please contact us at hakc@hakc.org or 816-968-4100. A quick summary of the ways to submit documents and information to HAKC and how to reach us for assistance. In the next several slides, we are going to provide an overview of how to use your voucher and the lease-up process. There are 4 main steps to participating in the Housing Choice Voucher Program. You are currently completing Step 1, which is to attend a briefing. During this briefing, we will discuss how the HCV program works. We will also explain the forms that need to be completed and submitted to HAKC, outline the lease-up process, and cover the ongoing responsibilities you will have as a program participant family or household. After watching or listening this presentation, you will sign and date the briefing checklist. Your signature on the briefing checklist, as shown here, indicates you received the information listed. This can be signed either physically or electronically. In addition to the checklist, you will sign and date your voucher. Many of you have already done so using Bob.ai. Here you see a picture of the top of a voucher form. We want to highlight a couple of important sections of the voucher form. On your voucher in box number 1, you will see the size of your voucher or number of bedrooms your family or household is approved for. In box number 3, you will see the expiration date of your voucher. You must find a unit to rent before your voucher expires, which is typically in days or months from the date it was issued. Please do not wait to start looking for a rental unit. In our service area, the inventory of rentals is very limited, and many places have wait lists. You do not want to run the risk of your voucher expiring before you can find a place to rent. In certain circumstances, you can ask to extend your voucher. Those circumstances include if you or someone in your family has a disability, or if you are a victim of domestic violence, stalking, or other crime. If an extension request is received and approved, HAKC will issue an extension of 120 days. You can return your signed and dated checklist and voucher via email to HAKC.org. If you take a picture, please remember to make sure the entire document is visible and legible. You can also return the forms by Bob.ai, postal mail, fax, or using the mail drop box. Once you have reviewed this entire presentation and submitted your checklist and voucher, you will have completed step 1. Key points to remember: your voucher is good for 120 days or 4 months from the date it is issued. You may request an extension, and if your request is approved, an extension will be issued for an additional days. To fully complete step 1, remember to sign, date, and return your voucher and the briefing checklist. The forms can be signed and returned physically or electronically on Bob.ai. With step 1 completed, it's time for step 2, finding a unit. The HCV program lets you have a choice regarding the unit you pick and where you live. In this program, you are responsible for finding a unit to lease from a landlord. If you need help looking for units, you can go online to sites like rent.com and Zillow.com. You can also look at apartment rental guides often found at grocery stores. We have also included our affordable housing list and some other housing placement resources in your information packet. If you currently live in a high poverty area, you can use your voucher to move to a neighborhood that has lower crime rates, better public services, schools, and medical or shopping centers. You may also choose to stay in your current unit. This is possible if the owner/manager is willing to participate in the program and if the unit will pass Housing Quality Standards, also called HQS. We will cover HQS in more detail in a few minutes. When choosing a unit, please consider a few things. Consider the cost of moving, such as security deposit or move-in fees. The HCV program does not aid with security deposits, applications, or other fees. You are responsible for those fees. Inspect the condition of the unit. In your information packet is a self-inspection checklist. Take the checklist with you when looking at a unit to see if there are any issues that would cause it to fail an inspection. We have also included HUD brochure called A Good Place to Live, which goes room by room and advises what to look for to find a safe and healthy unit. Check the unit out in person. Do not rely on online pictures. Confirm what items or areas are communal/shared, such as a shared laundry facility or storage area. If you need a ramp for accessibility, make sure there is one or that the stairs are manageable for you and your family. Consider the location or neighborhood. Also, think about some of things that are important to you if you move. Ask yourself, can I move to a low-poverty area? Do I want to get closer to a job? Do I need public transportation? Do I want to be closer to my kid's school or in different school altogether? Research suggests there are benefits to living in areas where poverty is less concentrated. These areas generally have lower crime rates, better schools, higher quality retail, and better access to public transportation. These benefits include more positive physical and mental health effects for families. Families living in low-poverty areas have better chances of finding jobs and making more money. Kids tend to do better in school with higher grades in subjects like math and English and may be more likely to go to college. There are areas within HAKC's jurisdiction where poverty is less concentrated. There are maps included in your briefing packet that identify some of these areas. Choose the neighborhood that is best for your family situation. The HCV program also allows you the choice to exercise portability. The ability to use your voucher in another location is referred to as portability. There are Section 8 programs like ours throughout the country, and you can choose to move to another area with an HCV program. If you lived or worked in HAKC's jurisdiction, meaning need counties serviced, for at least a year at the time you applied for the program, or if you received your voucher through the EHV program, you qualify to port or transfer your voucher right away. If not, you are required to live in our jurisdiction for a minimum of 1 year before being allowed to port. There are things to consider when deciding whether to port. While all HCV programs run on the same federal rules, local rules can vary. Examples of local rules include income limits for applicants moving to the area, first-time voucher users, criminal background requirements, and unit size. Income limits are different for different parts of the country, which can impact whether you are eligible to live in other areas with a voucher. Since you have received a voucher and orientation packet from our office, this means that you pass our income limit requirements and our criminal background check. If you choose to port to another city or state, they may have different requirements which you must meet before you can use your voucher with that housing authority. HUD requires housing authorities to approve a family/household for the smallest appropriate unit size, meaning the number of bedrooms, that does not result in overcrowding. Overcrowding, according to HUD, is having more than 2 people per sleeping area. Note, a family can choose to rent a unit that is larger or smaller than what is listed on their voucher if it does not cause overcrowding and if it meets HUD affordability requirements. Affordability will be discussed a little later. Some housing authorities have a very strict rule of 2 heartbeats per sleeping area, meaning 1 room for every 2 people. Others are more flexible. The general rule for HAKC is that the head of household and spouse are assigned 1 bedroom, and then it's 1 bedroom for every 2 people after that. Live-in aides approved by HAKC are allowed just 1 separate bedroom. For example, if your voucher says 3 bedrooms, the minimum number of household members is typically 3 and the maximum is 6 people. If you have a disability or medical need, HAKC may assign you a larger unit if you request a reasonable accommodation and the request is approved. When deciding to port, you will want to confirm what unit size you will qualify for with the new housing authority. We here at HAKC may have issued you a voucher for a 3-bedroom unit, but if you are porting to HAKC, this may be increased to a 4-bedroom. Or if you move to LA or New York City, you may only qualify for a 2-bedroom voucher. Please note, if porting, the receiving housing authority is not required to honor any reasonable accommodations approved by HAKC. They may ask you to request any accommodations with them directly before granting approval. Now that you found a unit, you are ready for step 3. After the RFTA has been submitted, HAKC will review the information and determine whether the proposed rent amount is affordable and reasonable. Affordable means something different to each family and depends on income and other characteristics of your household. HUD defines affordable as having no more than 40% of your adjusted gross monthly household income go toward rent. Reasonable rent is comparing your rent amount to other similar unassisted rental units. In the information package you received, you will find 1 or more unit search guidance letters. Here you see a sample. The purpose of the letter is to help you understand what is affordable to you and to give you an estimate of how much you might pay as a part of your rent. Each letter contains an affordable gross rent target, amount of rent requested by the landlord, any out-of-pocket utility costs. The amount listed as "you will pay approximately" is 40% of your gross monthly adjusted income based on the income you reported at the time your eligibility for a voucher was determined. The letter should be used as a guideline when looking for an affordable unit. Please feel free to share these letters with your prospective landlord, as it can help them to understand if their unit is affordable for you or what rent amount they may ask for upon lease-up. The rent of your unit also must be reasonable, which means a landlord may not charge you more to rent a unit than they would charge someone who is not using a voucher. The rent for your unit must be the same as a similar unit in the complex or the area that is not receiving a subsidy. When an RFTA is received by our office, your voucher is placed into what is known as tolling. This in essence means it is frozen while we determine if the unit can be approved. If for some reason it can't be, we will total up the number of days your voucher has been tolled. We will then add that amount of time to your voucher expiration date to extend it out and give you time to continue searching for a unit. This is in addition to any extension you may request. In addition to a unit being affordable and reasonable, the unit must pass HUD Housing Quality Standards Inspection, also referred to as HUS. Included in your briefing packet is HUD brochure A Good Place to Live, which provides good information on how to choose a safe and healthy rental unit, along with the self-inspection checklist, which is the same checklist used by our inspectors. This can help you to determine if a unit you are considering is a good one. Once the rent is determined to be affordable and reasonable, an HUS inspection is scheduled. An HCV inspector from HAKC will go look at the unit to make sure it meets the standards for safe and decent housing. HUD previously allowed landlords and tenants to self-certify the unit met HUS during the height of the global pandemic. Now they require us to conduct HUS inspections in person and on-site. Our inspectors will follow all prescribed precautions as outlined by the CDC regarding ongoing COVID-19 and variant prevention. You can see an informational presentation on our website titled "What to Expect When We're Inspecting," which explains the HUS inspection process. HUS inspectors have one main goal: to make sure the unit is a safe and healthy place to live. They are looking for life-threatening items such as non-functioning smoke detectors, electrical issues, no running water, etc. If any of these items are found during the inspection, the unit will automatically fail and must be corrected within 24 hours. The unit cannot be approved for occupancy or receive payment until it passes on re-inspection. HUS inspectors also look for non-life-threatening issues that may impact the quality of life and safety in the unit, such as trip hazards, leaking or dripping plumbing, and evidence of infestation, bed bugs, rodents, etc. Non-life-threatening items must be repaired or remedied within 30 days of the inspection. You may be approved to move in, but we must have confirmation that failed items have been resolved within 30 days to receive rental assistance on the unit. Once the HUS inspection is completed, the landlord should receive an electronic copy of the inspection report by the close of business on the day of the inspection. HAKC will notify you as the applicant regarding if the unit passed HUS inspection within 5 business days. Please know that you deserve to live in a safe and healthy home. Don't feel like you must accept something subpar because you have a voucher. If the unit passes HUS, HAKC will confirm your approved move-in date. Once the rent amount is approved and the unit passes inspection, HAKC will let you know when you can move in. Please note, in general, the time frame from once HAKC receives an RFTA to when an inspection is completed and move-in is approved takes approximately 2-3 weeks. Please note, this may take longer if we need to gather missing documents, etc. For you to move in, HAKC and the landlord must sign a Housing Assistance Payment (HAP) contract. This is an agreement that allows HAKC to make a payment for part of your rent to the landlord. The HAP contract includes an attachment to the lease called a tenancy addendum. The lease is the agreement between you, the tenant, and the landlord. HAKC is not a party to your lease and does not review lease documents beyond confirming the rent amount, utility responsibilities, and tenant information. Your signed voucher is the agreement between you and HAKC. The tenancy addendum connects you, the landlord, and HAKC together to agree to follow the rules of the program. The landlord must sign the HAP contract and return it to our office. All return methods are available to your landlord as they are to you: bob.ai, email, fax, postal mail, or physical drop-off. Please note, the initial lease period under the program for a new participant or a change in unit is typically 12 months. During that initial lease period, there cannot be changes to the rent, utility responsibilities, etc. If a situation occurs that may require an early move, please contact our office. We will review and address these situations on a case-by-case basis. Summary of Steps 2 and 3. You find a unit to rent. You and the landlord complete the RFTA and submit it to HAC. Your voucher is placed into tolling. HAKC will determine if the requested rent is affordable. Your portion cannot be more than 40% of your gross monthly adjusted household income, and reasonable. Can't be charged more than someone renting the same unit without a voucher. If the unit can't be approved, your tolling days will be added up and added as an extension to your voucher expiration date. If approved, the landlord will sign a HAP contract with HAKC and you will sign the lease/rental agreement with the landlord. HAKC will then let you know when you are approved to move in and when the rental assistance will start. Step 4 now begins. Once you and the landlord have signed the lease and the landlord has signed the HAP contract, you are now considered a participant of the HCV program. As a program participant, you have ongoing responsibilities. Every year, you must provide income and family composition information to recertify that you still qualify for the program and that you are paying the correct amount of rent. In between these annual updates, you must let us know if your income changes or your household composition changes, such as someone leaving the household or someone being added by birth, marriage, adoption, or court-awarded custody. These changes must be reported within 30 days of the change. You must request permission from HAKC and the landlord before adding any other adult member to the household. If you experience a decrease or an increase in income that is expected to last more than 30 days, you must report this change to HAKC. You may remember that when you completed the application packet, you signed a document about family obligations under the HCV program. The voucher, which also requires your signature, includes these family obligations as well. When you sign the voucher, you are committing to these rules. So, let's look at what the rules are. While we discuss this topic, look at the back of your voucher or the family obligation policy in your briefing information packet. For as long as you are a part of the HCV program, you must follow certain rules. These rules include letting us know when there are changes in your family composition, income, or housing unit. If an adult is moving in, you must request approval from HAKC and the landlord before they move in. You are responsible for the unit and cannot cause damage to the unit or engage in any activity that violates the lease or HCV program rules. This includes criminal activity and any activity that disturbs your neighbors. You are also responsible for ensuring that your guests respect the unit and the premises and do not engage in activities that damage the property or violate the lease. If you violate the lease or the program rules, you may be evicted and terminated from the Section 8 program along with termination of your rental assistance. In addition, you cannot sublease the unit. This means that only your household is authorized to live in the unit, and you cannot rent it out to anyone else. You cannot rent out rooms in the unit either. You may engage in legal profit-making activities in your unit if the landlord permits it. These may include babysitting, tutoring, haircutting, sewing, etc. Make sure it is okay with the landlord and that the area allows it. Please review the full list of family obligations in your packet on the page titled Family Obligation Policy and on your voucher. By following these steps and the program rules, you will successfully participate in the HCV program. In addition, you cannot sublease the unit. This means that only your household is authorized to live in the unit, and you cannot rent it out to anyone else. You cannot rent out rooms in the unit either. You may engage in legal profit-making activities in your unit if the landlord permits it. These may include babysitting, tutoring, haircutting, sewing, etc. Make sure it is okay with the landlord and that the area allows it. Please review the full list of family obligations in your packet on the page titled Family Obligation Policy and on your voucher. By following these steps and the program rules, you will successfully participate in the HCV program. Landlords also have responsibilities under the HCV program as well. They must perform all tasks under the HAP contract and in accordance with your lease. Perform all management and rental functions including unit maintenance. Maintain the unit to HUS standards. Collect rent from you, the tenant. Key points to remember. You have ongoing responsibilities which include annually recertifying your income and the members of your household. You also need to report any changes in income or household members to HAKC within 30 days of the change. You must get approval from HAKC and your landlord before moving any adults into the unit. You and any guests must follow the rules of your lease and cannot cause damage to your unit or the property and can't disturb you neighbors. Only the family/household members on file with HAKC can reside in the unit, no renting your unit to other people or renting out rooms in your unit. The full list of family obligations is in your briefing packet and on the back of your voucher form. Your landlord also has responsibilities. They must maintain your unit to HUS. They will perform management and maintenance tasks. Your landlord will collect your portion of the rent from you, and they must adhere to your lease agreement. Here are some additional information and resources. Your HAKC HCV program briefing packet is full of useful information, including how to request an informal review or a reasonable accommodation, the Violence Against Women Act, and your housing rights, how to protect yourself from lead in your home, how portability works, HUD Enterprise Information Verification (EVE) system, and HUD A Good Place to Live booklet. It also contains information on your responsibilities as a program participant and HUD document explaining how rent is determined. Here are your next steps in the process of using your voucher. You need to sign, date, and return your voucher form and the briefing checklist. These can be signed and returned physically or electronically postal mail, dropped off in the mail drop slot, faxed, emailed, or via Bob AI. You then need to find a unit and complete the RFTA with the landlord and return it to HAKC. Once the requested rent is approved, we'll schedule the HUS inspection. Reminder, the time frame for the RTA to be approved, the inspection scheduled and completed, and the unit to receive final approval is approximately 2-3 weeks. Thank you for your time. This concludes the HCV program briefing. If you have questions regarding this program briefing, you can email us at hakc@hakc.org or call our office at 816-968-4100. If you have specific questions regarding leasing or portability, you can email hakc@hakc.org directly at hakc@hakc.org. Thank you for your time and congratulations again on becoming part of the HCV program.